and let's see if this one works. So who is, let's test it out. Okay, now we have a lot of details over here. Okay, so now as you see, it is telling me that okay, who on which hosting server this website is hosted. Okay, this is namecheap.com. This is the website. This is the website of the hosting website. This is a hosting website, and then we get the creation date when that website was created. So now we see that it was created on 27th of January this year itself. Okay, so this is how we can kind of figure out like and now let's say let's imagine that okay, let's treat that okay, the date was today itself. The date was today by when that domain was registered, and what we can do is that we can kind of figure out if that domain is kind of highly malicious or not by using the age parameters. And then there is another way by which you can, rather than kind of utilizing the whois command, you can also automate that part. And what you can do is that you can just use this script over here. I'll just kind of, let me just go to that. This script over here. And what you can do is, so I'll just do clear and nano whois.py. And let me just whois.py. Let me just paste it out. And what we do is that over here, we do something like this. So we copy this part and we paste this part. And this is how one of the way by which you can automate this stuff. Okay. So you perform what I'm doing is I am using this module, which is whois, and this is a domain name that I want to search on. And then I'm calling this function perform whois search. And in this whois search, I'm passing the domain argument, which is this URL. And then I'm calling the whois function over here, whois.whois and the domain name. And then I'm printing the content over here. Okay. So this is a very basic script. And what you do is that what you can also do is that rather than just one URL, what you can do is that you can modify this script telling that you read the list of URLs from a text file, okay, from the log file that we created, and pass those URLs one by one to this function and get the data of whois domain. Okay, so this is how you can kind of automate the stuff, and you just save it. And I'm pretty sure it might give some error, but let's see. Python 3 ws.py. Yeah, this is an error. Okay, so this module is not installed. So how you can install it? This is how you can do this. You can just do pip3 install and just say install this module. So this will install this module for you in the Python interpreter. Okay, so just give it few seconds and then it will kind of be installed. So it is downloading that automatically for you and successfully built. Let's see, install. So now this part has been installed. And what I think is that w.psy, this was the script. And what we do is that we do Python 3 ws.py. Okay. Okay, so there is some issues with the code, and I'm thinking of not investing more time in this. But so it's telling whois has no attribute whois. So one of the things can be done, and which I told you earlier, you just go to Python 3, and you just do something like that, import whois. Okay, and you just see what are the different functions that this provide. Okay, so this provides us with different kind of functions, and maybe this one would be the one that we are interested in. And what we will do is that we'll go over here and let's say we copy this part, we just do a equal to, and then we make a variable out of that. So a holds the value, and then we do whois dot do query. Okay, so we just do query, and we give is the URL. Okay, so it says no, nothing. So I think it's maybe we'll try one last time. Okay, if not, we'll skip this. Okay, So it says we have XYZ, and then there is certain thing. So thing is that, guys, I won't invest much time in this script, because thing is that my intention was right now over here to kind of explain that, okay, what that age means for that domain. What we say is that new domains is more likely to bend. So there are different ways to do that. In your free time, you can figure out what is the functionality, what is the code over here, what is the function over here that can provide you the same data that this command provided to you. Okay, this command provided to you over here. And you come up, let's treat that as an exercise for you, that you have a list of URL, and then you use the Python script to kind of get the creation date of that website. Okay, so use that as a kind of a script, as an exercise for you. But I will leave out to you guys to kind of figure out what is that exact function over here that can kind of help you in kind of achieving the similar kind of information. I'm pretty sure it will be the query field, and query would have certain more function instead, but I will leave out to you guys to kind of figure out that part. Okay, so now our intention is to kind of figure out the creation date, so that's something we have already achieved. And now, just to summarize, for any kind of DNS logs, what we can do is that we can kind of see the repetition, we can see the age, and then we can come out with certain decision and say that, okay, if that domain is kind of malicious or not. Okay, so do you guys have any question before we proceed with the next set of discussion?
Yeah, sir, I have a question. Like, many times what happens is we come across some IP address that has previously been associated with some malicious domain. So the previous result is they are showing as malicious, but as we see of like recent details, it will be showing as clean. So in that case, should we consider that IP as clean, or because attackers, they may keep on changing the IP addresses, and maybe that time it was malicious and now it is showing clean. So how can we deal with that situation?
Yes. So that's one thing actually I have. This is one thing I will be kind of discussing later, which is actually called as passive DNS search. Okay, so this will actually solve this issue. Okay, where let's say the IP was clean, and maybe let's say so there are different scenarios. Let's say one of the incident that I always encounter is that I get an IP address, and thing is that, and the threat intel report says that, okay, this IP was seen as malicious 1 month back. For example, I get an alert. Let's say I get an alert just with the IP address, and it's telling us malicious. Then I look at the threat intel report. It says that this IP was malicious 1 month back. So now I wanted to know, like, if this IP is indeed malicious now. That's one thing. The other thing is, like, I wanted to see that if this I got an IP address, and I wanted to see if this IP address was malicious in past. So those all things can be answered by passive DNS search, and this is something I'll be kind of that is something already planned. I'll be kind of covering that out for you. Okay, so I'll answer that question during that time. But just to answer a question as an overview, the passive DNS is the term that will help you in kind of solving that issue. Okay, so look out for passive DNS, but I'll be kind of covering that out in much detail going forward. Okay, so that's any other question, because that thing is I will already discussing, so I'm not kind of trying to answer that out. But is there any other question for this part, for the one repetition and age for now? If not, I will kind of go to the next topic for now, which is again kind of DGA. Okay, so this is something we have already seen. This thing already came earlier.
One more thing is, like, when we are searching in VirusTotal, maybe there is a malicious domain. So when we search, maybe there are sometimes what happens, only two, for example, two vendors are flagging that as malicious, others are showing it clean. So in that case, how can we finalize whether it is malicious or not?
Okay, so in that case, thing is that, let's say only two antiviruses are telling it as malicious. So there can be two things. The one of the thing can be that either that website is kind of obviously not malicious, maybe just a false positive alert, or maybe that website was or maybe it is a new attack and only two antiviruses, maybe the best one, maybe Bitdefender or Kaspersky, were able to know that, okay, it is indeed malicious. So it can be either